It'd be a video of my 300ex with a Chinese cg250 engine on. This engine here is a clone, Honda clone of a cg125. They was mostly sold in Europe, and when it was a Honda engine, it was sold in Europe and Asia, not in the United States. So most people in the United States don't view these as a clone because they've never seen them before. But it is a clone. It has sisters. There's a 150 Chinese. It was just a 125 and it was a Honda, but the Chinese made a 150 out of it, and a 200 and a 250. It's not really a 250. It's a 220 or 229.9. It's push rod. It has a single lobe cam mounted down in the bottom end, and then it has two sets of rocker assemblies. There's a rocker assembly here, and there's a rocker assembly in the top. It's made by Zhongshan. You'll see Lonson and a few other names on the side, but all of them is made by Zhongshan. You'll see on the serial number, which you can't see on this one, it's all dirty, but they'll say ZS, and then usually 1 for one cylinder and 67 for the bore size, or if it's a 200, it'll say a different number for the bore size. They come in a kickstart and electric start, or well, the kickstart ones usually still have electric start on as well, but the ATV version with reverse has 4 gears forward and reverse, where the dirt bike version will have 5 gears forward, but it'll have a Kickstarter on it. I've had them apart because I've had some issues before with the transmission. It got tore out pulling somebody out in reverse with a chain, and I had to do some repairs with the reverse gear. But from what I see, they use the Kickstarter's like bearing journals inside the engine to get the reverse. So if it has reverse, you can't have a Kickstarter. Other than overdoing it with the reverse and tearing it out, is pretty solid. This thing has hundreds of hours on it, and the only thing that I have issues with is the starter clutch. There's 2 different versions of a starter clutch for these. There's a multi-sprag. I think there's like 20 sprags in it. And there's this version here, which I've gotten fond of this version because I can fix it. And I'll show you how. There's 3 little rollers. Here's one of the little rollers. 3 little rollers in there. And they're supposed to be, when you measure the outside of them, they're supposed to be like 410 thousandths. And they'll wear down to about 392, and it just won't work anymore. And the best thing I found to fixing them is, get on eBay or something and buy the drill bits. I can't remember what size the drill bit it is, but it's like 30 seconds or something like that. But pretty much, if you got like a digital caliper, or you can just mathematically figure it out. But around 408 or 10 thousandths is what you have to fix them. And I just cut the ends off the drill bit. At work, I had a guy check the hardness of these pins, and they're like 60 Rockwell. Now, the hardest part of a drill bit is, the end of the drill bit that drills into something, but the other end is still hardened. It's just not hardened as hard as what these sprags are. But he tested the other end, the end that goes in your drill, part of the drill bit, and it's like 40 Rockwell. I get like a few months out of these. Now mind you, these bikes usually run every single weekend. Sometimes, both Saturday and Sunday of a weekend, and you get hundreds and hundreds of starts out of these drill bit pieces, but they do only last a few months. After you get the procedure down of cutting these off and taking the cover off and to change them, it turns into like a 10-minute job. Putting this engine in, I made my own wiring harness. Pretty much just bought the correct voltage regulator for this is a single phase charging system. So I had to buy a single phase voltage regulator, and it has CDI ignition. I have another video of how to wire those up. I went and bought little spools of wire, which this one here has got some patches in it because I had to fix stuff. So I did have it all taped up really nice, but this is an extra wire I had to run for something. Same way with the controls. I just got online and found some controls that's actually backwards because this is a DC system. So off is on, because usually you're closing a circuit to short out or ground out an AC system. So the switch is backwards. And one of the things I like about these Chinese engines is they have a sending unit on the bottom that runs off the shift drum. You can put little light displays on, like this one. I'll turn it on. This one here, this thing has 4 gears forward. This cover is only good for reverse, neutral, 1 through 3. So in fourth gear, there's just no lights lit. But it completes a circuit to the ground for each light. It's pretty neat. You can find one of these, wire it up, and you got little lights to show what gear you're in, which works good for the kids. I originally put this bike together for my wife. That's why it's all pink. We call it Pinky just because it's all pink. But my wife doesn't really take much interest in riding it. So mostly just the kids running around. It's in the process of getting new front wheel bearings. I don't know how spaced out I'll have these videos posted, but it hasn't been tore apart that long. It's like a week. And I have the bearings sitting at home on my computer desk. They just need to put together. I'll probably put it together this weekend. This shifter. The shifter on here is off of a Bayou. I ended up cutting it and shortening it. And the motor mounts. This is the original 300ex motor mount. I cut it off and welded another end on it. You can't really see how the details of them, but they was a lot prettier. They ended up breaking, so I had to take them back off and weld them back together, and then I doubled them up. So they're not as pretty as what they were originally, and then I added this hooks to the original hookup for the original engine, and then just an adapter add-in thing to try to keep these from breaking, the upper ones from breaking. In the back, this is actually piece was cut out of a Chinese bike and then welded in here, and I had to make extension to bring it out far enough. This one also has 50 chain on it. I can get a front sprocket for this, and it has a 300ex back sprocket. I can get a front sprocket that is 420 as well, or 520. I'm sorry. They run a 520 chain on it, but I usually buy this chain in rolls, 10-foot rolls, and it's compatible with both. It works just fine. Might be a little hard on the sprockets, but I usually got a whole bunch of them laying around from buying bikes that's junk. I guess that pretty much sums it up. This front bumper is from a Chinese bike. It kind of just bolted right up to the 300ex frame. Alright, well, thanks for watching.